But you'll be happy because the next movie that's on the list is actually one of your favorites right there, Matt.
Yeah,
Halloween 4.
The Return of Michael Myers, which I know the writer of this is a guy who I think there was going to be a writer's strike, and he had like 11 days to write the script.
Really?
Yeah, and I actually thought he did a really good job. I think it's the same guy who would write Wrong Turn.
Get out of here! Really? Wow.
Yeah, if I can find the name of it.
Oh, that's the same writer you told me he's on the commentary of the DVD, right?
Yeah, it's a great commentary. He's with the guy who's a moderator, and he had a lot of good info.
Oh.
On the backstory, like what was more planned, like the sheriff guy in it.
Yeah.
He was supposed to have more of a fight with Michael Myers, and like when the whole rooftop sequence originally the house was supposed to be burning.
Yeah.
So it was supposed to be like fire all around to make make it even more of a hurdle for those who don't even know. I mean, you had Jamie Lee Curtis probably didn't want to even come back at all.
Yeah, because I think she was already happy trying to put the Scream Queen thing behind her because she was already doing movies like A Fish Called Wanda and Blue Steel, which is another good underrated film. Yeah.
And you had Dwight H. Little, who would later go on to direct Steven Seagal's
Marked for Death and Brandon Lee's Rapid Fire.
Yeah, which I think the writer actually had a hand in both of those too.
Oh, really? Oh,
Alan B. McElroy is his name.
Wow.
Yeah, he did Halloween 4. He helped write Rapid Fire, Spawn.
Wow, he's been around. Shit.
And Wrong Turn. So, I guess he did. I thought he did. I guess he didn't do a Steven Seagal film, but yeah, he did Halloween 4, Rapid Fire, Spawn, and all sorts of stuff. But anyway, I mean, the film is basically you have introduced to Danielle Harris's character.
Yes.
Who I guess is the daughter of Jamie Lee Curtis's.
Laurie Strode.
And I guess there's some bullshit story of Laurie Strode had passed away in a car accident or something like that.
Yeah.
And Danielle Harris's character, Jamie, is living with his family, and he has a sister named Rachel, played by Ellie Cornell. And throughout this time, Michael Myers has been in a coma, heavily burned up, and you also have Donald Pleasence, who there's no fucking way he would have survived.
Yeah.
But
an explosion like that in the second film.
But in fact, actually, in the opening, in the commentary, the writer explains he wrote a scene in which it was supposed to be an extension of the ending of Halloween 2.
Yeah.
Where you would see the hallway of the hospital, and you would see the explosion. You would see Donald Pleasence's character fly out to sort of explain how he survived.
Wow, that would have been good to see.
But the director, I guess, didn't want any connection with the previous film. I don't know why. But
it would have helped.
But the writer, that's what the writer had, but they said no.
Damn.
Which is, that's how it goes sometimes.
What a schmuck.
But it's years later, and Michael Myers, I think John Carl Buechler did the effects. He puts the thumb in some guy's forehead.
Oh, that's a cool scene. I actually remember that scene, yeah. They had the VHS tape of this movie.
And as the movie goes along, like I said before, I always loved it because it was sort of like a pumped up version of Halloween. Because Michael Myers, he seems just like an unstoppable force. Like when Donald Pleasence gets to his gas station, one way or another, Michael Myers makes it so that the whole station blows up. And there's a scene where later on where he grabs a guy and throws him to the power lines, so it knocks the power out of the town.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I always liked the characters of Ellie Cornell I thought she was likable.
Yeah.
The little Danielle Harris.
Yeah.
And although Donald Pleasence is in the film a lot, although at the third act he doesn't really do much shit.
Yeah.
Which pissed me off.
Yeah.
But I always thought it had a lot of some good kills, like the girl getting a shotgun through his stomach and against a wall.
Yeah.
And the boyfriend trying to help the...
Yeah, that was a good scene. I remember that. Yeah, because I found it refreshing that You know, he wasn't just running away. I like those characters in a slasher film that actually, even though sometimes it's stupid, but if you have it, like if it's a family member or something, and you gotta run a distraction, of course you're gonna have to face the killer, you know,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Even though it's a real suspenseful scene in which he's trying to load up the 2-barrel shotgun, I guess he fucks up, which I hate to say he fucked up, but it's true, he fucked up, and Michael gets close to him. But I liked about it, he duked it out with Michael, even though it's bullshit. He's going, bah! And Michael Myers does the Steve James Jackson thing where he just turns around and just looks like it doesn't affect him. And then he takes the shotgun and hits him with the butt of it. Pah! Once again, like nothing. And then he grabs the shotgun, grabs the guy or whatever, and then I guess crushes his neck. Now I don't remember, I don't know if it's in my videotape or maybe it's cut from the videotape. There's a scene, I guess, where he grabs him by his neck and crushes his neck and then throws him down the stairs or something. Oh, I don't know if he actually throws him out there or you just hear and then it cuts away.
You just see sort of like him squeezing, almost like he's crushing his head, and then it cuts away.
It cuts away. I don't remember which. I remember I seen a version one time that he did something that he crushed him like, and then he just throws him downstairs. The aftermath. I don't remember. Maybe it was a version I seen. I don't know. Or it was cut from my tape. Or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I always got a kick out of this just because I thought it had a lot of good scenes. The rooftop chase sequence.
Yeah.
It's pretty scary because you could get hurt very easily.
Yeah, of course. And it looked like this Ellie Cornell was actually on that roof, it looks like. Almost at times, you know.
Yeah, they did a good job, and I think John Carpenter, before all this, he actually wrote a treatment for the film.
Really? Wow, that's nice.
I think it was supposed to be, like, really different, like Halloween 3 was, but it was like it discerned the town of Haddonfield and the effects of the events of the first two films had on the citizens.
Yeah.
Sort of like more of a psychological approach, but they wanted just a slasher film. But yeah, Halloween 4 is definitely a fun movie.
Yeah.
For me.
I mean, I enjoyed the movie. Is that what it is? When you think of the movies that came after it, they, you know, kind of fucks up the mythos of the story a little bit, like the Jamie character and stuff. Because if I have to really connect the movie to the franchise, then I question Laurie Strode's character in H2O. I'm like, okay, you faked your death. What about your fucking daughter? You know, like that. But you gotta think of it like that. But I try not to think that way on it. But I mean, the movie on its own, it's a fun slasher movie. I mean, it has good scenes, good action scenes in there. You know, like that scene where you have the good old boys in town, the drunks or whatever, decide to do a lynch mob thing in which they're looking for Michael Myers and they fuck up and they shoot the wrong guy or something, whatever like that.
Right.
Then they get scared off and they find Ellie Cornell and Danielle Harris and they're in the pickup truck and Michael Myers for some reason ends up on the bottom of the truck and takes out. It's a cool stunt scene. He gets on back of the truck and starts stabbing the fucking, you know, the guys left and right, throwing them off the truck. And shit, I think one guy, gets his throat ripped out by Michael. It's like, damn, Michael's pissed. You know? It's amazing, but it's a good movie. I just wish, like, in the ending part, where the sheriff and everyone fills him up full of buckshots, I wish you would see, like, RoboCop prosthetics type of shit. Like, you know, like arms flying off and shit. You know? I just wish we could have seen that. But, hey, you know, it was there.
Well, that was another thing. I liked the ending with the little girl.
Yeah, like this being the successor to Michael, pretty much.
Then they pussied out in the sequel.
They fucked it up, yeah. They
Pussy.
Pussies.
Dominique Rotten Jerkoff.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah. Well, movies are solid films, not bad. Just the part 5 and 6 fuck it up, you know. I know some people like 5 and 6, but it's alright. For me, I don't know. It's just messed it up with the whole thing with the thorn. I don't want to hear about the thorn. Fuck that. You know.
Exactly. I don't give a shit about the thorn up someone's ass.
Yeah, and the whole bullshit incest story that connected with 6, something about Michael doing something with his niece. That's how the baby got pregnant. It's a ridiculous story. I don't know if that was it's just stupid, you know. And then Michael looking like Art Garfunkel with the mask and everything. Just ridiculous the way the mask looked. At least in H2O, even though sometimes the mask was CGI'd, but still was good, you know. See Jamie Lee Curtis duke it out with that again. But now we're up to one of my favorite movies, directed by Bill Lustig. And I'll give the hint by the theme.
of course,
Maniac Cop. Yes, Matt Cordell.
Same director did Maniac, William Lustig.
Yeah.
And would go on to direct the 2 sequels.
Yeah, very awesome sequels. Even though part 3 kind of takes some scenes from, I guess, the second movie, but I mean, it had some good ideas in there, you know. At least they wrapped it up at 3.
And it was written by Larry Cohen, who's a guy who
writes a lot of crazy stuff.
yeah, It's Alive.
Q the Winged Serpent.
Yeah, Q the Winged Serpent. He's just one of my favorite directors because he's just different.
Yeah, he goes against the grain. Goes against the grain, Larry Cohen, man. But this is very good movie over here. It opens up in New York City, and which I guess a scene with some girl coming from a bar is attacked by these 3 punks, and she runs to get away or whatever. She sees an officer in the park asking for help, and the officer comes out of nowhere and chokes the shit out of her and kills her. And I think the 2 punks get killed too, right? If I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've seen it. And it stars Tom Atkins, who you all seen him on a lot of fucking movies. And William Smith, another guy who's got a real strange backstory.
Yeah, he supposedly worked with the CIA, and you've seen him in films like he was the dad of Conan and Conan the Barbarian.
And he was also the villain in that underrated vigilante movie starring Gary Busey, Eye of the Tiger, and everything. He's been in a lot of fucking movies, man. I think he had a small part in The Outsiders as well, and another part in Rumblefish. I think he's been everywhere. William Smith. He knows how to play the villain in movies, you know.
Exactly. You also got Bruce Campbell and Richard Roundtree, Shaft.
Yeah, so. Shaft. Shaft plays an asshole in this movie, this Richard Roundtree character. He just seems like an asshole and stuff like that. He gives Tom Atkins, the investigating cop who's investigating the case, a hard time and stuff. And everything like that. And there's something going on where, of course, this mysterious cop is running around the streets killing people. And to the point where people in the streets are paranoid. And there's a scene there where this lady's being pulled over by a cop, and it's broad daylight, and she panics and shoots the cop.
I like that idea. That was a cool idea.
Yeah, paranoia, you know, and it works. And the movie is a classic. It's awesome. It has a good DVD from what I hear. I think
it has a good special edition DVD. It has a great commentary with you have Bruce Campbell, the director, the writer Larry Cohen, and I think someone else. I forget who else.
Robert Z'Dar by any chance? Because I know he's in the featurette, I think.
He's in the featurette, and of course Robert Z'Dar, you may remember from Tango and Cash as, you know...
Conan, so they call him Conan, whatever. Come here! I want to talk to you! Hey, punk! When I get out of here, I'm going to tear you a new ass! You know Captain Dynamo? Yes! I love you, Conan the Barbarian! You know, that guy, Stallone bangs his nose against the bars and shit. He's a memorable character. If you've seen him, you know who he is. And Robert Z'Dar, I mean.
He plays Matt Cordell.
Yeah. It's a real tragic story. You know, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Matt. It's a real tragic story about the Matt Cordell character. He was this hard-as-nails cop who he got the bad guys. He made his own rules, you know, he made headlines and stuff like that. A super cop in a way. And I guess he was investigating something real big, some corruption stuff from somebody downtown or whatever. And something goes wrong and he's falsely accused of some bullshit and sentenced to Sing Sing Penitentiary surrounded by inmates. In which you have a very cool flashback sequence and everything like that. We have that theme I was whistling earlier and stuff. And where she's in the shower. And no, they do not fuck him. Thank God. I don't want to see that in no movie. But the inmates outnumber him and they attack him. And he holds his own until he's shanked in the back and horribly cut in the face repeatedly a bunch of times. And until he bleeds to death. But so they think until some weird thing happens and he was in some kind of weird coma, which they thought he was dead, but he wasn't dead. And now with the scars in his face, I'm guessing it affect him mentally. So he's not really 100%, but he still wants revenge, which is weird. It's explained a little bit more in the movie more. But I love the movie. The movie is good. I mean, the second one is my favorite because there is more action sequences, and they have, Matt Cordell's makeup looks a little more better in the second movie. But it's an awesome film. I mean, I hope the second one ever gets a DVD release. It's being remade. Bill Lustig sold the rights to the movies. The director, William Lustig, because supposedly, I guess, he wasn't happy that the sequels went straight to video and stuff like that. That's one of the reasons why he hasn't directed anything in a long time, I'm guessing, right, Matt?
Right.
So
now he's more of just a DVD producer with Blue Underground and all those other places.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's cool. Maybe that's why he shows up in that documentary of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He shows up there.
Yeah, he's a bit DVD producer, Blue Underground and a lot of other getting those DVDs out. So, but yeah, Maniac Cop, I kind of enjoy it. It's not much of a gore film.
It's not really gore. It's more on story and character and
it's
stuff.
It's more like a little more of a action thriller than really a horror film in a way.
Yeah. I mean, you do have a good kill. Like one guy gets killed with cement and a wet cement floor, which is a creative way to kill someone.
It was surprising to see Tom Atkins get killed.
That kind of pissed me off to see him go, and stuff like that. Because then we're stuck with Bruce Campbell as the lead. I mean, I don't hate Bruce Campbell. I don't know. The character just didn't seem interesting to me. Oh, wow. He cheated on his wife. His wife gets killed. Now he's falsely accused. And now the female cop, which I did find interesting and hot, the lead girl with the female cop or whatever. Because I believe she was tough. I bought her as a New York cop and stuff like that. And she ends up coming to play and helping Bruce Campbell out,
But then in the sequel, they both get killed.
Yeah, I was pissed off when she got killed, but Bruce Campbell's like,
I don't remember the sequel too much, so
yeah.
I know it has Robert Davi, which I wouldn't mind to watch that.
Yeah, Robert Davi, I think he played the villain in License to Kill, a very memorable Bond villain in my humble opinion. I always liked it, Sanchez. That scene when the end of License to Kill when he tells James Bond. He has him in this compactor thing where he's gonna cut up his leg, when he cut up the cocaine or whatever. He tells him, when you're up to your feet, you gotta tell me everything I want to know. When you're up to your knees, you're gonna kiss my ass to kill you. And then he just throws him down there, and everything like that. But Robert Davi's a good actor. I mean, I liked him in the sequels, and stuff like that. And toward the movies, you get to realize, the more tragedy about Matt Cordell, that he was a good cop that was, got the wrong end. He was fucked by the system, and he killed innocent people, maybe in his rage or whatever. But by the second and third movie, he makes up, I guess, a little bit for it, and stuff like that. And then you have Leo Rossi in the sequel, which I always like. He plays like this serial killer that's hanging out with Matt Cordell. And he's in jail, and I don't know, the character as the Leo Rossi plays him is a little bit silly but crazy at the same time, because he's making up this song in jail talking about he's gonna get me, Cordell. We'll both burn in hell. Don't forget me, Cordell. He starts singing that in the prison, in the jail, and then Clarence Williams III is like this inmate that's in there is gonna get sentenced to death soon. So he gets mad. Shut the fuck up. And then he comes out with some dialogue between them. He goes, what you in for? Leo Rossi says. He goes, the Supreme Court fucked me, and it wasn't even safe sex. I always use that shit sometimes, like when someone said, I got fucked, and it wasn't even safe sex. But they're good films. I actually love the Maniac Cop films. I don't know what they're going to do with the remake about it, but it depends who's behind it. I mean, like I said, if they get someone like Zack Snyder, or Alejandro Ajah, or James Gunn, or maybe that fucking guy who directed the District 9 movie, because he knows how to do gore and stuff, if they get him, why not?
The third movie, how's that one?
Oh, the third one is alright. The only problem I have with the third one is that they use a little bit of stock footage from the second movie on certain parts. Because the third one is kind of a little bit of a throwback to Matt Cordell's original character, because you have Robert Davi, he's coming back, right? And there's this girl on the force, which they nicknamed Maniac Kate, because she's kind of like a tough, uniform cop, kind of like Matt Cordell was. And Jackie R. Haley's in the movie. He plays like this guy robbing a drugstore or something, and her partner is shot up or something like that. So she tries to take out the suspect, and which she gets her hands on a little sawed-off machine gun that she has underneath the glove compartment, and she shoots up the pharmacy or whatever, trying to get into the place and everything like that. And she puts some special slugs to get to the Jackie R. Haley's character, shoots him up, and then there's a paparazzi that's like these stringers or whatever, who are taping the whole thing, what's going on, right? And then we realize something, that the woman behind that was being held hostage in the pharmacy was in on the heist and actually shoots the maniac Kate, the cop, puts her in a coma, but not before she gets a shot off and shoots the girl between the eyes. So now what happens is the fucking asshole paparazzi guys pretty much start fucking with the tape to make money and make it look like that the cop was wrong, that, she, pretty much shot up the store and everything like that. And she's in a coma, and Robert Davi's trying to find answers. And Matt Cordell, some voodoo guy brings Matt Cordell back from the dead. You have an opening sequence which connects to the end of the last movie, where he punches through the coffin and grabs the badge. So, I mean, the score for the movie is a little bit improved. It's not bad. I still miss that whistling score, which I can't do no more because my throat's dry from fucking whistling. But, I mean, it's a good film. I mean, Matt Cordell starts going after the paparazzi people and after the asshole doctor who wants to pull the plug on Maniac Kate, because she's in a coma. They don't think she's gonna pull through, and the female doctor, who turns out to be the love interest of Robert Davi, is like trying to fight with the guy to keep the machines on or whatever. And meanwhile, Maniac Kate in her coma is having nightmares about her being married to Cordell in a wedding sequence where you see his face all burnt up and everything like that. So basically, Cordell has, I think, a kind of a connection with this woman, that he kind of likes her. And the movie ends with him taking her body away from the hospital and wanting the voodoo man to do this, to bring her back, kind of like what they did to him. And Robert Davi corners him at the church and begs Matt Cordell. He tells him, don't condemn her to the same fate. And now this I found very interesting. Cordell speaks, cocks a shotgun, finish it! I'm like, wow, Cordell is really pissed off. He actually broke silence to protect this, to bring this woman like him. And then the voodoo guy refuses to put the woman through this, so he gets shot, and then he burns Maniac Kate's body. Now she's dead. And you have a shot there where there's a shootout between Cordell and Robert Davi, in which you get a cool sequence in which Matt Cordell gets lit on fire. And he gets inside a car while he's on fire and driving after Robert Davi. It's a cool sequence, a cool chase. The motherfucker's on fire driving, Matt. I don't know how the hell you do that shit without the car blowing up, but it's amazing. Real practical shit too. I mean, I love the three films. And then you have a scene which I guess he's trying to grab, Matt Cordell, he's trying to grab Robert Davi's character through the car or whatever, into there's like a pole in the way, and he ends up amputating the arm of Matt Cordell. Now he's with one arm. And until one point, you know how when you're in the steering wheel of the car and you're waiting for the light to change, you start jiggling your fingers on the steering wheel? You have that same scene, Matt Cordell doing that shit with his fingers on fire on the steering wheel. Unbelievable, man. Practical shit. And he hits the car, I guess, on reverse, and all of a sudden, now the car blows up. And not before Robert Davi does something real cool. He takes the burnt hand that's amputated of Matt Cordell, takes a cigarette, and lights up his cigarette with the burnt hand, and throws the burnt hand into the fire. And then the final shot of the movie ends with you have, I believe, Maniac Kate burned up at the morgue, and Matt Cordell's body next to her. His hand cradles her hand, and then the movie ends. But I mean, I found it to be. I mean, they didn't make a 4 and a 5. I guess they figured what's done is done. I mean, they could tell they didn't have that much money behind this one. Maybe that's why they used a little bit of stock footage from, not so much, but like a little scene like where Matt Cordell has that machine gun, which I forgot to talk about in part 2, when he levels out the precinct.
Yeah.
And everything. You ever seen there where you see him Matt Cordell walking upstairs with that same machine gun shooting someone, then walking through a door? And like, where the fuck he got that gun from? He got it back from the second movie? So it's little shit like that, but I mean, that's little stuff. You see that end climax is worth it, man, you know. That's Maniac Cop 3 Badge of Silence, which is on DVD along with the first one, but part 2, for some weird fucking reason, didn't get a DVD.
That is strange.
Yeah, man, I hope they do bring it. I mean, maybe with the chance of the remake, they will release it. Maybe Blue Underground will get a hold of it, maybe. You know, why not? And I guess, I don't know, do you want to say anything on Maniac Cop? Sorry if I talked all over the place.
No, you're fine. You know more about it because I haven't seen the sequels in a long time.
Oh, yeah? Oh, I know you got the first one, right?
Yeah, I got the first one, and like I said, Maniac Cop, I do enjoy.
Yeah.
It did piss me off, but Tom Atkins, I mean, it's a good film.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have too much to complain about. It's a cool idea.
Yeah.
And I thought they did a good job with it.
Yeah, it's a good idea, you know. And I like the way the genre kind of switches that, you know, now he's kind of like a cop, you know. And actually, it spawned a Maniac Cop rap song in the end of part 2, which is very catchy. He's a Maniac Cop. And you got that whistle, the theme there, that I can't whistle no more. Shit, but it's a fun films. They're very good. I mean, part 1 I believe is on YouTube, folks. You could look it up, and I think part 2 is on there as well, and stuff. You could, depending on which way you find it. Cause I know on one of the uploads that somebody did, I think some parts got taken down, and then I think on another one you got the whole movie. So you gotta find it, guys. You can check it out. Maniac Cop is a good fucking movie. It's worthy of many tributes, as I can say. Many tributes. Oh man, I guess the next one I'll let you roll with that one, Mac. That's one of your favorites right there, even though it's one of my favorites too. Cause I gotta drink some more water.
Yeah, 1988. You have a sequel, Nightmare on Elm Street 4: The Dream Master, directed by Rennie Harlin, who previously had done Prison, which is a really cool movie with Viggo Mortensen in it. And afterward, would do Cliffhanger, Die Hard 2, Ford Fairlane, just a lot of fun movies. And basically the story is, you have Freddy coming back, and the one thing that kind of pissed me off was they killed the Dream Warriors very quickly.
That's true.
Like Ken Sagos is in the junkyard and it's like, Freddy's back! And the big pull out to like a junkyard planet almost.
Yeah.
And you have Joey who has, as Freddy says, you're having a wet dream, huh?
Yeah, with the water bed.
Yeah, naked woman underneath.
I wonder if that's the same nurse from the last movie.
No, it's a different one. I forget her name. It's I forgot her name.
Yeah.
Hope Marie Carlton.
Wow, what a name.
Yeah, she's basically what type of film she's been in was Ghoulies 3 and Hotel Erotica.
Well, she's been to those Skinamax movies, I guess. I recognize the name. I think I might have caught her work, probably.
So, unfortunately, I mean, the Dream Warriors get killed easily, and Patricia Arquette didn't come back. You had Tuesday Night, who sings the song Running from a Nightmare that you hear at the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
And then we're introduced to Alice, played by Lisa Wilcox, who was always my favorite actress in the Nightmare on Elm Street films, because I always liked her character. She was sort of a shy type of character at first, always daydreaming.
Mm-hmm.
But then she sort of gets this power in her dream from Tuesday Night's character, Kristen.
Mm-hmm.
And now she can, like, pull people into her dreams like the character could in part 3.
Yeah.
Pull characters into her dreams. And Freddy starts to use that to get new victims. And I don't know, you just have a lot of cool effects and dream sequences, like the girl being turned into a bug.
Oh, yeah.
Made by the Screaming Mad George did the effects, and that's just amazing to me. Just graphic.
Yeah, it's a good
Very
idea
fun.
too. One person turning into a cockroach.
Yeah.
It's a good
Her
idea.
face falling off, and you see a cockroach face. It's just like, what the fuck?
Well, you were saying that Screaming. Sorry to interrupt you, but you were saying that Screaming Mad George did some other movies as well before Part 4, right? Other horror films. I forgot what else he done.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. It's there's a documentary or featurette on Part 4, and Screaming Mad George. I know this sounds stupid, but I didn't know the guy was Asian. Screaming Mad George doesn't really, make it sound. I don't know. You think look like John Carl Beekler or something like that.
Yeah.
But
you said it was like he's like a young Asian guy, kind of like James Wynn, the director of Saw.
James Wan, yeah. He also did. Here it is. He did the Creature Effects crew on Predator.
Get out of here! Really? Wow.
He also did stuff for Bride of Reanimator,
Shit.
Guyver.
Wow.
Let's see. Faust, Love of the Damned.
Oh, well, that's one shit. It's just like when you talk about Steve Miner, how he made one fuck up right there with Day of the Dead remake. It's like, son of a bitch.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of the Destinies, you had her brother who had nunchucks. Yeah, that song Anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
And his dream, it was like almost a kung fu fight, which Freddy wins, of course.
Yeah, an invisible Freddy.
And you have the girl who has asthma. Freddy goes, "You want to suck face?" and like sucks her whole body, and in reality gives her an asthma attack.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I always liked this because I thought it had a lot of energy, a lot of special effects, and some good imagination to it. I love the soundtrack.
The old intro. Here you go.
Got to me ever since I was a kid. That was like one of the coolest scenes. Ever since I was a kid, when the Alice character's getting ready in front of a mirror, and that music. I tried so hard to find that music without those sound effects, and it's impossible.
Yeah.
And I know they did a version of it for that song "Don't Be Afraid of Your Dreams," but it's not the exact same.
Yeah, it's just they took the tone a little bit. Boom, 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 boom. They slowed it down a little.
It's softer, and it's like, I don't want soft. I want the fucking rock and roll version.
Yeah. You know, there's girls, I've seen videos, there's actually women on YouTube that mimic that scene. The Alice scene. It's like, wow, so I imagine that's kind of cool. They still remember that scene right there from Nightmare 4. Like, wow.
I don't know. I think also because, I love the montage, like when Rambo's getting ready in Rambo 2. I always love those types of scenes.
Yeah, why not,
Lisa Wilcox did a great job. Great fight at the end, too.
Yeah.
Church.
Exactly. That's why I got pissed off in 5. Because in 5, she don't do shit, man. In Part 4, she's doing kung fu. She takes that homemade thing that her friend made, and I don't know what the fuck, made like a laser beam shit and burned a hole through Freddy. There was more going on,
But Part 4 has just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Freddy is like, he's now the hero because it's, since Robert Englund stars in Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Yeah.
So other than the Dream Wars getting killed a little too easily, and some of the jokes not working the best, this is always my favorite. Just sort of like rock and roll.
Yeah. It's still in the pop culture, and this is, I think, where it went in full force. This one, because you had the soundtrack also had one of my favorite songs, in which my brother actually, back in the day when this movie came out, I remember it came out, I think, a couple of months apart or a weekend apart from the Blob remake.
Yeah.
And I remember my brother had the record, the actual record, the small record of the Fat Boys, Freddy's Back.
Yeah.
Which is, they have a music video of it on YouTube and stuff. You guys can check it out, real retro,
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, Freddy's back, and it was a real badass, I'm telling you. Yeah. don't fall asleep. And Robert Englund once again makes an appearance there. You know, I mean that's when Freddy with Robert Englund was like a rock star now. When he got to part 4, a little bit, you know, and everything like that. But I think that's now what hammers the nail a little bit, because this is 1988, and then the following year, right after, they wanted a sequel right away, and that's what usually the kiss of death when you rush a sequel, you know, and stuff.
Exactly.
But the movie's a lot of fun. I enjoy it as well. I own that DVD. I bought the single version of it away from the box set. I think it was real cheap for $10 or whatever.
That's good.
Yeah, so you know, I watched it. I haven't seen it in a long time. I've seen it. Every time I hear that theme, I always think of your intro, Matt. That fucking A.
Yes.
That whole thing is there. You know, I miss that shit. Oh man.
Definitely one of my favorite pieces of music ever.
It is awesome, man.
Cinema rock and roll.
Yeah, no doubt. And now the next one is one of our favorites.
Yet again.
Friday the 13th, Part 7.
1988 actually has my two my favorite sequels. Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and Friday the 13th,
Part 7, The New Blood. Yes, that poster is badass. I love that poster.
That's probably one of my favorite posters ever.
I wish I could get a T-shirt like that. I'm telling you. Malcolm can make me a T-shirt like that. I know he made that one with the Jason skull, with the spray paint and the press. It came out nice. But I showed him this poster. He goes, "I'm gonna need a whole fucking workshop to make that shit, man." So it's a good idea, but I don't know. It should be white looking though. They only have white paint. Oh man, but this movie is a lot of fun. I think I talked about this before. John Carl Biegler directing, and the creature design of Jason is my favorite. Him looking like a Terminator, like an endoskeleton almost when he comes out of that water, and the idea of the lead girl having kinetic powers is a good fucking idea.
Yeah, because they wanted to do Freddy vs. Jason, but they couldn't do the rights, so they did the next best thing.
Freddy vs. Carrie. I mean, not Freddy, Jason vs. Carrie. My mistake. I fucked up.
But yeah, this was just... The thing about it it got cut to bits.
Yeah, in the words of John Carl Biegler, they ripped my movie! That's what John Carl Biegler keeps saying in the documentary.
It's sad because you see the work print.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, the little scenes they have on the DVD, the box set, and it's a shame because the gore looks as good since maybe part 4 or even more so.
Yeah, exactly.
And American Puto Association of Us.
You got it! Alright, you're learning, man. You got it. You said it clearly. You didn't miss a beat. There you go. Yeah, thanks to those bastards. And I guess somebody in Paramount, that John Carl Biegler had some issues with. Because there was an alternate ending, which I think would have been more kick-ass, that involved the lead girl's father, Tina, Laura Park Lincoln's father, in which instead of him popping up from the pier or whatever, looking with like dirt on his face or whatever, it was going to be like an animatronic, almost like a zombie-like version of her father, pulling Jason down. When this footage doesn't exist, it would make more sense. And then him popping back up like a spirit, all clean, looking at Tina like accepting. Because those of you who've seen the movie, you know, the beginning of the movie opens up where we see the little girl running from a cabin, which is Tina at a young age, from her father and mother having a fight or whatever, in which the father hits the mother and stuff like that. And she gets away on this boat halfway, and they tell her to come back in. And she goes, "You hit mom again." And the same little girl will later go on to be in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. But anyway, what happens is she tells her father, "I hate you, I wish you were dead," and does that kinetic powers thing, knocking down the pier, sending her father to her death, drowning to death. So years passed, now she's a teenager, and they go to the cabins with her mom to see the psychiatrist, which I always forget his fucking name. I know the actor's name. Terry Kaiser. Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's himself in the movie. Dr. Cruz. That's right. Bad News Cruz, right? That's what they called him, I think. Bad News Cruz, yeah. and stuff like that. And Dr. Cruz supposedly wants to help her, and they have this thing in which they have her doing this videotaping where he wants her to move these matches or whatever and stuff like that. And long when you find out he's just using her, trying to exploit her or whatever. And you have these kids that are next door once again, and some interesting characters and stuff. And I guess you could take it from there. I need to a little dry from the talking over here.
Well, I mean, basically, like you said, you find out that the main girl, Laura Lincoln, has telekinetic powers, and she starts seeing things like William Butler, who is probably, I think he's one of the first to get killed. He's trying to get to the party, and him and this girl gets killed. And from there on, it's basically, it's in a way it's your typical stalk and slash, but you have Laura Lincoln able to fight back in really fun action scenes with a really, my favorite Jason, looked wise and acting wise, played by Kane Hodder, and just everything from making the roof fall on Jason or
headbutting.
Yeah.
Headbutt with the severed head on the plant, hitting Jason in the head. And then
yeah, and then him going up the stairs, but then she swings like this the light, chandelier light, right into his face, and he crashes through the stairs. And it just goes on, and there's a lot of physical action that was fun and entertaining.
Jason Unmasked. There you go.
But yeah, I mean, if they had put the gore in, I think this would have been a lot of people's top 3 favorites.
Exactly.
All that gore was still in. But even then, even in this version, it's still a fun time.
Exactly, yeah. It is sad that they took all that out, I'm telling you.
This is the one that really got raped the most out of any of them.
Yeah, that's why I agree with John Carbickler, when he says that, that they raped his film. They made it like a watered down version. If you guys see that work print, I'm sure all of you have, you'll be saying the same thing, like that iconic scene everybody remembers with Jason and the sleeping bag death, with the girl being dragged by a sleeping bag and she gets whacked against a tree. And the regular version is one fucking whack. Now, in the work print, it's, I think 10 whacks, and the whole bag is just red.
Yeah, exactly.
But the fucked up thing about it was the aftermath. When you see her, it's not that much blood on her face. Right. Even John Carbickler makes fun of that, and if you can find the work print version with the commentary with him and Kane Hodder, and they talk about that scene, And then you have that other scene which is sad they took out. And everything like that. I mean, in retrospect, if I would have seen it like when I was a kid, I seen that scene like, oh, but I want to see it now though, with the black guy in the movie gets killed. I know, big surprise.
Oh, his head crushed like a peanut.
Like a peanut, like almost like, I don't know, like a grapefruit or something. It's just like eyes blow up, and then it's just like just blood everywhere out of his mouth, out of his ears, And then the girl that's in the car, the black girl, she gets a sound maker right between her eyes. You actually see the blood coming out of the sound maker. Or whatever. Yeah. And everything like that. But it's a fun film. I mean, if you guys want to go for a good time, the score owns. I love the score for the film as well.
Yeah, Fred Mullen.
It has like almost a little bit of the old vibe to it, with a little bit of a Terminator thing. That the whole thing like that is awesome, and stuff. A lot of fun.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, that's why it's one of my number ones as well. And I actually thought I was the only one that felt was my number one until I met Matt. Exactly. Oh man.
But the next one is another. That came out in 1988 also. That's a lot. Good sequels in 88.
Yeah, this was another fun one that. Yeah, this was actually another fun one that I saw on YouTube that I made fun of. Because somebody digitized all the nudity and stuff with Tron footage or whatever.
Yes.
And everything. But it's a fun movie. I actually prefer this one over the first one because it's a little more, it doesn't take itself too seriously. Felicia Rose does not return as Angela. This time as Pamela Springsteen.
And she was in college at the time.
Yeah, she was in school. And the idea is in this one that Angela had done some time, Peter, I should say, done some time in jail, and I guess when being released from jail in the mental whatever ward, she had gotten a sex change operation. So now there's no Frank, no Beans, pretty much. So now she's playing, I think, another character, ironically called Angela, which she's playing like a different last name, as a camp counselor in the sleepaway camp, where you have Renee Estevez, Emilio Estevez, Charlie Sheen's little sister in the movie
Right.
as well. And you have all these other kids in the movie and stuff. You got one bitch of the group, one this, one that. And everybody that pretty much starts fucking up the thing that Angela tried to set up with the camp or making fun of Angela goes down. So
And the thing about this, like you're saying, the humor.
yeah,
First of all, there's a lot of death scenes,
yeah.
including one in which a girl was put in an outhouse with like leeches there, which is kind of weird and disturbing.
With the doodle. You're putting your face right in
Yes.
there. Damn.
And then, there's another scene which I have a DVD cover, and it's weird because the girl on the cover is not in the movie.
Yeah.
But you actually have someone in a Freddy, the Freddy
Glove.
glove, and another one with a hockey mask. And I think it's Angela. She has the Leatherface, right?
Yeah.
So it's like Leatherface killing Freddy and Jason.
Yeah, it's very fun sequel, folks. I mean, if you guys get the DVD, get the DVD. And from what I understand, there's a lot of nudity in it. And, I mean, it doesn't take itself seriously. It's not going for a shocking ending like the first movie is. I mean, it's more for fun slasher. Pamela Springsteen does a good job. I still would have loved to see what would happen if Felicia would have came back for it, but that's a different world, I guess. But
Yeah, it was definitely a fun, solid.
it is very fun. I can see myself watching this over and over again. Because the funny thing about this is the people getting killed, I didn't feel sorry for. Because, I mean, some of them were annoying characters.
Right.
That's one thing about Angela. Angela will not kill really anybody innocent. I think the reason she killed Christopher Collette in the first movie because she exposed herself and he seen Frank and Beans, got scared off and tried not to deal with her, and she couldn't deal with it. And it took his head right off. But that was it. But other than that, in the Sleepaway Camp 2, I mean, nobody else I could think of. Everyone gets killed or whatever. One guy gets barrel acid thrown in his face and he dies a slow death and everything, And one guy gets a head decapitated and stuff. And the decapitated head ends up inside the TV. It's just a fun way. Fun death. I gotta get the DVD. I'm sure the commentary must be a lot of fun.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta get the DVD.
It's pretty fun. It's a lot of good bad stories, but good tongue in cheek as well.
Yeah.